All right, so just let me know when you're ready to get started.
We're ready. We're ready. I just had to make an adjustment for the live thing on the stream. So,
No,
everybody, today we're welcoming Fausto Filosti.
there you go. You got close enough, Greg. It's Puglisi, another
Puglisi.
like you.
Yeah. So, Fausto and I met each other. Wow, we're a long time, Fausto. Many years ago, we used to, I don't know if you do them anymore. We used to do those trader expos. We
Yeah,
started back
actually,
then.
I'm actually going to be up in Toronto and Orlando doing a couple of workshops coming up in September and October.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've been at this a long time. We come to the markets with a little bit different approaches. And I'm very excited to hear, how you're doing it since a background being a market maker, everybody's interested in what market makers do. How do they think? Are they gunning for my stops? Um, all of the I think it's still a mystery to a lot of people. I mean, back in when I started out in the 90s, I mean, I didn't even know what level two was. And
Yeah.
that's your arena. And as I did start to learn about it and looked at it, it was kind of a maze. And it was like, wow, this is what the hell's going on here. And a lot of things moving around. So it's certainly a much more different approach to doing it. And a lot of people still, of course, use it today about order flow. But yeah, we'd love to hear your insights in this, of course.
Yeah, well, Greg, you know what? I'm not looking to change anybody's style. I mean, I know what you've done for many years. I mean, you've been a guru and been such a great contributor, and all your life helping. I don't know how many people, hundreds of thousands of people that you've trained over the years. And I've been watching you, and I follow you. We all have a style, but what I like to do, this is just a little bit more of looking at the right of the chart and to see a little bit more where the order flows are, where people know that this does exist. So you could apply this towards your options, stocks, swing trading, forex, whatever you do, futures, whatever it may be. But it's just going to help you to understand where is supply and demand. And really excited to be here. And one really cool thing is in this PowerPoint, you're going to see a picture of you and I actually trading together, which I
Wow.
found. Yeah, we did a. So for some of you who don't know, we did a lot of traders challenges, and and
Yeah.
me and Greg, we did one together. It was a lot of fun.
Uh,
Looking forward to that one. So it's pretty
yeah.
old, but you'll see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wondered about that. I mean, when we were doing those things, it was so great. We had such huge crowds. Everybody was like, "Wow, these guys are going to really trade. Press a button." And yeah, so we used to do these trading challenges, and they were a lot of fun. I mean, those events. So
It wasn't about making money. I tell everyone it's
yeah,
about just educating everybody. Like it wasn't who won or who lost, who broke even. It was more or less just saying, "Hey, listen, this is how things are looking." And you know what? It's kind of
right,
hard to kind of like. I mean, it's not we got paid for it. It made money on it. It was just
yeah,
mainly just educational wise, and it was just fun doing it, just to
right,
show the different perspectives. So, but yeah,
yeah,
we drew like the biggest crowds at those times, and we would get hundreds. Uh,
yeah,
Maybe close to 1,000 people watching us. It was actually the most popular event that they did. So
yeah,
that was awesome.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, let me go through and show a little bit of everybody here exactly. Do you want me to just go through the PowerPoint with them and show them a little bit and
yeah,
educate them
yeah,
here? All right,
yeah.
good. So basically what I'm going to basically teach everyone a little bit is I do a lot of presentations for NASDAQ. I'm going to teach you a little bit about total view. I'm going to show you exactly how to get it. It's directly through the exchanges, it's through NASDAQ. You can get it through your broker, but I'm going to show you that this technology has been around for over 50 years. Some of you probably can hear for the first time, and it's going to be a supplement to what you use. I'm going to show you how to take advantage of it. I'm going to show you exactly how supply and demand works, how to spot these opportunities. And this could be used towards a beginner person just starting getting out, or someone's been doing it for a very, very long time. Now, when I live here, I'll tell you a little bit about the difference is basically you got the level two on the left and you got NASDAQ book view on the right. But I just want to ask everybody a question here. Does anyone here use level 3 or level 4 quotes. I mean, I know everyone's probably familiar with level 2, but does anybody here have like NASDAQ total view? Or I don't work for NASDAQ, just let you know, just be compliant, but just kind of show you exactly how to follow the orders. Okay, a lot of Randall, Rocco, Jerry, Alex. No one here. Oh, Alex does. Okay, good. Kate, what about you? I know we have a lot of people here listening. Nope. Okay. Well, listen, what you're about to learn is going to be quite disturbing, because you're going to be like, how did I not know this before? Well, it's no different than like AI coming out or anything else. So nothing really has changed. I'm just going to show you how to follow order flow. Okay. I'm going to show you where BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, algorithms, where they put all their orders, all those limit orders that you heard that are out there. When you see things that do breakouts, we're going to talk about them. So just to tell you the difference, this is basically NASDAQ level 2. You get that with every brokerage firm. You got all the buyers and all the sellers out there, and you get to see what's called the exchanges. And right here is NASDAQ. And then you have EDGX, Archipelago, New York Stock Exchange. So the problem with level 2 and level 3, which I like to call it, is you're only seeing the best buyer out there on level 2. Where you get level 3 quotes, you're seeing all the buyers at every single price level. So you're seeing the depth of the book. So, a lot of people, don't take level 2 seriously, because number one, it moves too fast. They don't know what they're really looking at other than seeing live quotes. But you don't understand that you're just seeing the best buyer and the best seller out there at that exchange. So think about going to New York Stock Exchange. If you were able to have the opportunity to come here, imagine now you could actually go there to the floor and actually see where the buyers and sellers and what their bids are and everything else. So you can see the advantages of it. And I'll go into detail a little bit more about it. And by the way, Greg, if you have any questions or want to jump in at any moment in time, feel
One
free to
thing
jump in.
when level 2 first came out, I don't know if this is still available. They quoted it as NDAQ. I don't know if that,
Yes.
what is that?
Yes.
Was that any different than
That
anywhere?
was their full letter abbreviation. If actually, I was actually the beta testers who started building these ECNs, which was Island, if you remember.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
those are the ECNs, which allows you to become a market maker. You could be, because I'm one of the original Souls bandits that started back in the early '90s, and there's a whole. I wrote a book about it, which, by the way, I'm going to give it to everybody here coming up. But getting back to your point is, then they bought the ECN out, and then they changed it to NASDAQ, which NASQ, and now they changed the letters symbols again. Okay. So that's how that works out. Dan Fausto, what is the dark pools? I thought they heard about 40-50% of the volumes of that. Don't worry about the dark pools right now. That's about 5% of the movement. We'll cover that more towards the end, but I'm going to get to that, Dan. That's a great question. But basically what you're looking at here is you're seeing every single buyer and every single seller. So there are multiple exchanges: the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ Exchange. You have the Chicago. NASDAQ does probably about 50% of the total volume of a specific stock. So I could bring all these different books out there, but we're going to focus on this one because this is the more predominant one. And just to kind of give you a little heads up how things work, whoever wants to buy, we're looking at Baidu, for example. Whoever wants to buy Baidu, if you haven't put a limit order out there, you're going to see who's willing to pay the most and who's going to pay the least, who's going to sell it for the most and who's going to sell it for the least. So you're basically looking at a big chat room of every buyer and seller out there that wants to buy Baidu around the entire world. So think about buying a house, right? Imagine someone says, put a bid in a house. I'm like, well, I don't know where to put a bid in. Where's everyone's bids are? Well, think about it as a stock market. Now you're seeing all the bids and where those orders are. Now I'm going to show you how this will help you to kind of give you a game plan of where the big orders are, because that's what you want to look at, because that's what makes a big support and resistance level. All right. Now,
So this doesn't tell you who they are. I guess not.
It used to, but now, Greg, brokerage firms don't have to show their orders anymore. So now they're just running it through an ECN, which stands for Electronic Communication Network. They used to see them on level 2, but not anymore. They got that kind of has gone. They don't have to do that. Now putting Nasdaq total view into action. Okay, so let me show you some real examples. So here's PDD. Okay, and we're looking at a stock right here. It doesn't matter the symbol, but you basically, if you look over here, you'll notice that this is support, this is support, and now you see how the stock, went all the way down and came up here, and here's 130. Now, what makes a support and resistance levels? Okay, that is really the $64,000 question. It's buyers and sellers. All right. Now, if you look right here, PDD, you could see right here. Let me get my crayons out here. This we said is support, right? Now we're right here. Stock went up from 90, it's at 130. Now, what is going to prevent this stock from going higher? Sellers. And we're going to look at the sell column, and you'll notice all the way down here at 130, you got 154 orders out there. You got 3 million shares out there. Now, let me tell you how much money that is, for some people don't know. I'm going to bring up my calculator right here. 3 million times 130. You're talking over $390 million worth of stock that's looking to be sold right now at 130. Now, regardless of a Fibonacci and MACD, whatever you're using, there's a lot of sellers out there at that price. So what do you think is going to happen at 130? You think it's going to go to 140? You think it's going to go to 150? Or is it going to back off at 130? See, that's how we look as traders. It's all about supply and demand. But as we're getting closer to 130, you'll see 129, 92, there's 700 shares, 500 shares. We're getting really close to that 3 million shares. And by the way, I have it defaulted, and you could do this on these orders. They're aggregated. So there are basically 349 orders around the entire world that make up the 3 million shares. Now, I don't know about you, Greg, but if I had a stock right here and it's at 110 and I'm at 130, even though I know the stock was at 140, 150, my biggest concern is what's going to happen when I get close to that 3 million shares out there. Okay. Yeah. We're talking over $250 million worth looking to be sold. So anyway.
So question, a lot of things in, especially technical analysis, and this is a different form of it in a short-term basis, can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So what is the thinking behind? Look, I see this thing and I say, oh, there's 300 million shares for offer there. One thing that comes to mind is don't buy it there. And the other thing is, can I short it?
Exactly. You can. Or let's say you do own it. You better, I mean, like, you don't want to own a stock with a lot of sellers out there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, yes, the vice versa is like yes, the mentality it is you want to short it if you're not long, because obviously there's a lot of sellers out there. Sellers is supply, right? Support is demand. Right. But in the example right here, it just shows you, look what ended up happening even on a swing trade. Because it's not just day trading, because day tradings lead into swing trades. Okay. Swing trades learn into an investment. So here you have the stock, when we just saw it just go all the way up, and look what just ended up happening. It hit 130, came back down to 110, hit 130, and came right back down to 95. You know what I mean? Without even thinking of it, why didn't it get past 130? That is really the main reason why PDD did not want to get past 130, because you're going up against that big block order out there, which what we call here at Cyber Trade University, we call them big iceberg orders. That's a big iceberg order. And if anyone knows, whatever have it, I came up with that word a long time ago, Greg. If anyone ever familiar with the movie The Titanic, what happens when you hit an iceberg? You know what I mean? It didn't work too well for the people on on the Titanic. So you don't want to be the next person that sinks.
So Fausto, question, from a market maker's point of view, and we really don't know who this is. It could be a hedge fund or what have you. Why would I display such a massive order there rather than say when it gets there, populate it or just, hit the bid? I mean, if I hit the bid, I'm going to crush it with an order like that. But why would I display that?
Great. That's a great question. And you got to understand something. I was a market maker. This is all algorithms and program trading. You know what I mean? Like a market maker is making markets in hundreds of stocks, and they
Yeah.
got an order from someone else. They can't sit there and play games. You know what I mean? They don't want to get caught with their hands. If somebody wants out, like if you told somebody, like let's say you're a client, right, and you called your broker. Let's go back to the old days. You say, listen, I want out of my stock at 130. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, what is he going to do? Like, oh my God, like he wants out, but how am I going to make money on the guy? He wants out. He wants out. And if that stock, if hit 130 and went down to, it went back down to 95, he's like, hey, what? It looks like the stock hit 131. You got me out. He's like, no, I didn't. He's like, what do you mean you get me out? I told you to sell it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So they have a fiduciary responsibility to get out of that position. So they can't really play games. You know what I mean?
Sure,
So
sure.
they just put the orders out there. And not only that, this is the other thing that some people ask me, Greg, is they look at it. They're like, well, how do we know it's a real order? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, listen, that is being aggregated right now from 300. Now we're down to 98 people. That's 98 orders around the entire world. They're not all in cahoots with each other. I mean, that's where people have their orders out there, you know?
Sure.
And also, in another thing too, Greg, it's a psychological number. How many
Yeah.
people want to get out at 129.80? They all said 130. So,
Right.
it's another number that's out there, you know.
So these algorithms, I mean, some years ago there was talk about them being charged to place their order or pull their order, or whether it was illegal for them to actually pull their orders. All of a sudden, as if they're manipulating the level two or the level four.
Well, you could change your mind,
Yeah.
right? There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. I mean, like, people always ask me, like, could he, could he cancel? You could cancel an order. It happens. I do it all. You do it all the time. I do it all the time. We change our mind, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's nothing illegal about that, but let me just tell everyone that is a real order. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to invite you all to my trading room and I'll find a 3 million share order. If you got $250 million in your account, we'll use your money and we'll execute it. You tell me how real it is, fake it is.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I look at it.
Yeah. There was
Um,
a question here. Someone said, why can't we see the same 3 million sell orders on level two? Why only visible on total view?
okay, so that's a great question. Remember what I told you back in level two? You're only seeing the best buyer and the best seller. Okay, you're not seeing all the other buyers down here. You understand? That's the problem with level two. You're only seeing the first level of the
Yeah.
best bid and the best offer. When you get
Yeah.
level three, you're seeing all the bids and all the offers. And the other thing is, too, what does level two cost you? Right? It's free, right? You know what it costs for NASDAQ Book Viewer? When I got started, it was about $1,000 a month I had to pay. Today, it costs $15, no matter what brokerage firm you use. And by the way, a lot of brokerage firms do offer this to you. They don't tell you about it. Thinkorswim offers it. Schwab offers it. A lot of them offer, TradeStation, offers it. But there's, like I said, it's a very minuscule fee. If you guys want it. And by the way, if anyone here would like to get it, um, I made some really nice videos, 2 videos. Just send me an email and I'll be happy to send you the 2 videos, 5-minute videos. I'll show you how to get it and download it. Because it's amazing. Because listen, when you're trading, it just helps you become a better trader. It just shows you where the orders are. That's all it is. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to change anybody's style, or because some people, Greg, said, well, I'm not a day trader. That's okay. You don't have to be a day trader. You don't have to be, or whatever kind of trader you are. It's nice to see where everyone's looking to get out. That's all.
Yeah.
Um, Now, with that said, here's another example where we're going to talk about consolidation. Now, some people always want to ask me a little bit more like, how do these examples work? And how do you know if they're going to do a breakout or how they consolidate their orders? Well, this is basically, a little bit more about following orders. Now, the thing is, I think a lot of people, Greg, don't like to look at this because there are a lot of numbers. It does get overwhelming
Hmm.
and it does move a little fast, But when I train my students, I show them how to kind of aggregate them and how to eliminate the noise so it doesn't move as fast. I think because when you look at level two, people say it moves pretty quickly. And listen, some stocks move faster than other people, and they shouldn't be comprehended, and some things don't. But the best thing to do is just when I look at these orders, like we're looking at a stock Neo. Um, if I own the stock, I'm just looking to see where the big block orders are. Like over here, you got this big order at 550 for 100,000, and you got 18 orders out there. So a lot of this other stuff, I mean, it is a lot of shares, Greg, but like a lot of it's noise. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's 2,000, 10,000. But when I start getting to the 6-digit numbers, that's
Yeah,
when I start taking things very seriously. You know, so 98% of the orders you see in here are irrelevant. It's the 2%, the 5% is what you really care about.
sure.
And when you go to a chart and you want to know where the resistance levels are, you'll kind of like make sense. You're like, okay, since September, every time it hit this price, it came back down. And by the way, you can break that resistance levels. The only way it could happen, someone has to buy from them. But
Right.
you could see a consistent pattern. Back in December, it hit it, came back down to $4. Now it's back up to 550, comes back down. So there's a pattern that goes on with it. It just gives you a little bit more of what we call the right of the chart. Is what we're looking at. Where on the left of the chart, you're seeing what happened in the past. What happens is, to make things to be indicative of the future, you look in the past, but you need those orders in the future to give you that confirmation if they're going to continue.
Right.
Dan has a question. Fausta, any big orders on my chart with the line whenever without having to look at the book viewer? No, you can't. You got to have the order book to kind of see where to give you that confirmation with it. Because remember, a chart is delayed. It's only working on past data. It's not working on future data. Okay, so you're basically looking at a chart to kind of give you, a ballpark figure of where are the support resistance levels. I'm trying to tell you where you're kind of using it towards seeing the if to give you that confirmation if those orders still exist, they're out there from the past, are in there in the future.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Phil. So yeah, let me just clarify the question. Then I'm not trying to not pay the $15. I just don't want to have to look at level two. I want the computer to do it for me, which means, hey, wherever you see 100,000 or more, just put it right on my chart. Put a little line there that shows me a big order without having to look at this.
Okay, so that's a great question, and I got the answer for that. I didn't get to it yet. There's something is called level 4. Right now, we're just stuck on level 3. Okay, so when I get to the level 4 part of it, I'm going to show you a heat map, which there is something on top of it, which what you're basically asking for. Okay, so I'm just trying to break everybody in a little bit, just to let everybody know that everybody knows that there's the smart money that's out there, and nobody knows where they are. I'm just showing you where they are. Like I do a lot of presentations for NASDAQ. If you go on my YouTube channel, I've been on NASDAQ probably like 30, I don't know, maybe 50 times. I've done presentations for them. And listen, Greg, NASDAQ doesn't need me. I'm being on NASDAQ is like a privilege, but they want me to educate. I do a lot of contractor work for them. I do a lot of presentations for them. They want you to understand how to trade the market. A lot of people just don't understand how the market works. And this is just basically how the exchange works. So I'm just trying to give you a little basic understanding that there are orders out there and where they are. Now, when I implement something called level 4, then it will kill the noise a little bit more on a chart. But I'm going to get to that.
So the question was, does total view has to be viewed at the NASDAQ website, or is it on the broker platform?
You have to get it. Well, what I recommend everyone is get the standalone version from NASDAQ, the exchange itself, because a lot of other companies might say they have it, but they don't. And then you can check with your brokerage firm, and which a lot of them do have it, and then you'll see how you'll able to implement it into your trading platform. So, I mean, listen, for $15, I mean that NASDAQ's offering, and I paid $1,000 for it when I first got started at 22 years old, I'm 53 now. It's a freaking steal. You know what I mean? They're just doing it to give it to you because the more you trade, the more the exchanges make. You know what I mean? So that's basically where that comes in, Greg. But as you start with this one, then, you know, this is like basically the training wheels, and then you'll know how to kind of, you know, aggregate it into your platform a little bit better. The brokerage firms offer it. So yes, to answer that question. But getting back to Neo, you could see how the stock, how it hit 550 and it came right back down to $3, you know, on a swing trade, you know. So this data really just gives you that little head start where those orders are. We had a question. Raul's question: sport resistance is first thing. How market makers play void. Can you explain that through? I'm going to get to that in a little bit. Just right now, my goal is I just want to get you guys understand a little bit more of what is support and resistance levels. All right. So let me show you one more on a breakout. And then what I like to do is I'll go to the execution system, and then I'll show you level 4, which is going to be really cool, which is going to answer a lot of everyone's questions here. Let's talk about a breakout. Okay. So here we're looking at a stock, FFAI. All right. And you'll see right here that there is a lot of resistance levels, you know, in the past, right around 130. Okay. And you see at 130, you have 110,000 share seller. Now, if everybody, let's see if everybody's paying attention. If you saw a big seller at 130, what would you think is going to happen when we get to 130? Is the stock going to go up or is it going to go down? Okay.
Stop.
It's going to go down, right? Okay. Greg said it's going to go down. Everyone else?
Well, no, it might just stop there.
Okay. Stop. Yeah. But in theory, up or down?
Well, in theory, I'd say it's not going to go up with that chart. The way it went up there, I wouldn't be buying it there. And so would I short it there? I mean, just from a technical, I mean, saying if I believe it's going to go down, the next question is, can I make money from that thought? The only way I can make money is to short it. Or to sell
that's if you don't own it. But let's say you owned it at $1, and right now it's at $1.30, and you're coming up to that big seller.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to sell. I'm joining him.
You want to take a profit, right?
Yeah.
130, you know, listen, 30 cents is 30%. You know what I mean? Like, why not? So it should go down. All right. Now, now the question is, can that stock break 130? Yes or no? Of
course.
Of course it could, right? Absolutely. How is that going to happen?
Big buyer.
That buyer's got to buy it. Exactly. So if you look right here, you know, you look at the past, everything is telling you you're at resistance, you see a big seller. But what ends up happening is the seller got executed. And now all of a sudden that seller became a big buyer. Now you have a 230,000 share buyer at 130. So stocks do break out. Okay. How does that happen? Listen, someone said it was a deal. How about, I'll use the metaphor about buying a house. You like a house, you wanted to buy it. You're like, yeah, I think the house is worth $1 million. And you come back like, holy crap, went for $1.5 million. Who the hell would pay $1.5 million for that house? I think it was worth $1 million. Listen, there's an ask for every seat, right? Somebody thought it was a good deal. It wasn't good for you, but it was good for them. Same thing for the stock. You might think like, you know what? There's a lot of sellers out there. You think it's good for you, but then all of a sudden it breaks out. Now, how would you know that that actually is happening? And if that seller is getting executed? Well, one of the other big things I teach is I'm going to show you something called time and sales. You know, because time and sales, I think a lot of people neglect, Greg. They don't look at it and realize those are the transactions that are taking place, and you could see those orders getting filled. So you'll see that order start chipping away. You'll start seeing like 10,000, 20,000, 10,000. And that's when you get second thoughts. You're like, you know what? Holy crap, somebody really wants to buy it, and it's going to break out, which is what happened here, you know? And that's how you get these kind of big breakouts. So the conclusion is here is that's basically how stocks, you know, how they driven to it. You have a big seller, and now when the buyers come in. And that's basically what I try to teach. Now, what I like to do is I like to actually bring you to a something called level 4. And let me just bring up the market right here. Now, by the way, does anyone here have a stock they want to look at? Any stock out there? We'll have a little fun here, you know. Let me fix the defaults here, make this a little bit simple of a chart. Any stocks out there anyone looking at?
Let's look at
Uh,
NVIDIA. It's so active. I mean,
NVIDIA's a good one. We'll look at NVIDIA, and NVIDIA's
yeah.
good. NVIDIA's has some good volume. Good stock's been moving up pretty well, right? Okay. Now, I like this one. This is a great one. So, where's the resistance levels on NVIDIA? Does anybody know? Well, Greg, you and I know that the way you kind of look at resistance levels, you got to keep going in the past. So I'm going back. Do you see any resistance levels on NVIDIA?
All-time highs.
It's on all-time high. So when you break through a roof, where's the ceiling, right? Right now, you had it at 150, but it's not there anymore. So how do you find the next resistance levels? Well, we got to follow the orders. Now, what I'm going to show you right now is something called level 4. All right. Now, level 4 is a heat map. Now, this is where you're really going to fall off your chair. Okay. This is level 4. Now, if you look at level 4, right here is the current order book. Now, if you see these, this is 9:30 in the morning right here. This is program trading kicking in at 9:30. See those big red lines? Those orders is 400,000 looking to sell at 85, and you got a shitload that's looking to be sold here at 180 and 179. You got about 845,000 shares looking to be sold there, and you got another 126,000. So you talk, how much money are you talking there? You're talking almost 1 million shares almost looking to be sold right around that 180. So you can look at a chart and might use whatever indicator you want, whatever it is. But the fact of the matter is, if you really want to know where the big orders are right now, they program trading kicked in, and it's at between 179 and 180. Now, if I bring up the orders right here, look what happened over the course of the day from yesterday to today. Here's 175, right? Yesterday, it hit it. NVIDIA dropped all the way down to 175. Today, it went up there, got close to it, and it backed off. Why did it stop over here at 175? Close to 179, 180 is because of one reason. You're going up against this big order out there that's sitting there right now. And that's called the right of the chart. All right. Did I lose anybody, by the way?
Well, what's the definitional difference of this versus level 3? What other order flow is not included in?
So think of this as level 3 right here. You're just seeing the orders.
Right. Okay.
Level 4, you're looking at the heat map and you're seeing it, how long they've been out there for, and so on. So if I show you another stock, you'll see how, you'll see the pattern of like, did the person add to the position? Did somebody cancel an order? You can't see that. On level 3, you're just seeing what's exactly out there right now. Level 4 is showing you, a recording of it now and what happened of the when it started. That's how that's happening.
So this line is past tense with the
exactly.
And so what's the big green and red balls? Adding to big or buying.
That's a great question too. Those are your time and sales.
Right.
Those are, so if you get a lot of greens, that means people are buying. You get a lot of reds, people are selling. It's almost common sense. So that's basically what you see in there.
So Alex had asked about, is it similar to open interest, which I didn't know the answer, but I thought one of the things that we utilize as being where the supply is or where prices may gravitate to is what's the largest open interest in calls or puts if it's going down. So I went and I looked. And so expiring on Friday, the highest open interest in call options is 180.
Exactly. There you go.
So people are buying them. Market maker has to hedge to sell.
Yes.
Those orders are probably the market maker. I mean,
exactly.
That's just an assumption.
Exactly. You just hit the nail right in the head. So that's the other thing that people understand. You're trading an option and want to know, like, for them to make an order out there, they have to cover it, right? You just can't go. What does an option mean? It's another option, a way of trading the stock, right? That's why they call it an option. So they're going out there and they're going to sell it to somebody, but they got to make sure they can cover it because they got to own the stock to sell it. You can't, yeah, I mean, you remember back in the day, they used to do naked shorts. Remember naked shorts? They got rid of that rule, and because they were letting people short a stock. And meanwhile, they didn't even own the stock. They said, you want to short it, go right ahead. It was make believe. Now they passed a law that you can't let people short a stock. The clearing firm won't let you do it unless you have stock and inventory. And that's why some of you out there say, hey, why my brokerage firm could let me short it and you can't? The other brokerage can't because they don't have it in inventory. So for them to do the same thing for an option, they got to cover that interest out there. So that's where that comes into play. Here's another one too. We'll look at Tesla, right? That's a popular one. Let's look at Tesla. So you could see Tesla right here, basically all these big supports and resistance levels everywhere, right? Just draw a trend line right here. You can see a lot of resistance levels there in the past, all the way up here around 500. We could slice this any way you want. But when we go here and we look at the orders, you can do this as a day trade, and you could see a lot more orders between 325, 324, 322, 40,000, 40,000, or you could do it as a swing trade and scroll and go way beyond. You could see the big orders, 350, 360, you can see a lot more darker lines here. And there's really no buyers up until about 300. So you can also, if you use your options, you can kind of see like, okay, let me see the best interest on the option side and where those orders are coming. Where those orders are coming from? You could see it from here. Now, is there any other stock that somebody wants to look at?
How about the Qs? I mean, maybe
the Qs are a little bit different.
Yeah.
So when you look at the Qs, the problem you deal.
Where's that stock that gapped down big today, Dan? The one that was buying another company.
So they were buying cyber.
Yeah.
And
PLTR, PNT, PNW, PANW.
Which one is it?
PANW.
Go ahead.
Type it.
PANW.
Okay. So PMW traded 27 million shares. So one of the big things you also got to take into consideration, the stock's got to have some volume because then you'll see volume on it. So let's go see what the orders, see who's out there getting in and getting out of it. It's over here. And we type it in, PANW. So we'll load up the data and see what's out there. All right, so you got a lot of orders sitting here between 175, 177. You got real no sellers out there. I mean, if I go all the way up, 200, 400, all the orders are right here that are hovering right around this number between 180 and 175. So let me go back a little bit further in history. Let me go back 3 hours, get some more data. Right now, I'm only looking about an hour of data.
So Greg and Fausto, this, we have to do some back testing to get comfortable with it, Greg, but on big gaps up or down, this might be awesome for zero DTE credit spreads.
Yeah, listen, like me as a market maker, let me tell you, Greg, I've known you for years, and you see, we always get solicit all the time, people with different platforms, this and that. I'm not a fan of any platforms. To me, what makes one different than the other. But as a market maker, my mainly concern is, I don't think I'm smart anybody out there. I don't take things personal. I don't get political. I just say, hey, listen, whatever the street's doing, they're the ones. That's the smart money. I'm not trading, 2 million shares, 1 million shares. I don't know. I'm not BlackRock. I'm not Goldman Sachs. I just want to be a fly on their shoulder. So, here you're looking at the stock right here at PANW. Clear as day. you could see how the stock where it opened up at 182 and the orders showed up right at 930 between 175, 176. And then you'll see why the stock stopped right there and started going back up. So, right. This is not make believe. I mean, this is real orders out there.
Is this available for New York Stock Exchange stock?
Only right now. NASDAQ. So this one right here, like right now, this is implementing two ECNs, NASDAQ and EDGX. New York Stock Exchange doesn't have as much volume as you think, NASDAQ makes up about 50% of the volume on every stock. And you know that the New York Stock Exchange stocks don't just trade on New York Stock Exchange. They trade on all different exchanges now. So It's global. So, and New York Stock Exchange is kind of mimicking how the NASDAQ works. Before it was an auction. The only way you could trade is you got to send the order down to the specialist in the New York Stock Exchange. They're not there anymore. They got rid of them. Everything's electronic. So they all follow the NASDAQ way, which is what we're looking at right now. So, you know what, you can add like on TradeStation, you could aggregate, you could add more ECN, see more orders out there. But realistically, if they're there on New York, they're on the NASDAQ, doesn't really matter. So right now, between these two, we're looking at maybe 70% of the volume of the stock. The other 30% could be on the other couple of them,
Right. Okay, that's good. Good to know.
Like I said, does anybody,
someone asked about Open and Starbucks.
So Starbucks is a pretty good one. Okay.
That was wild this morning.
Yeah, it was good. And I'll tell you, this was a great one right here. Let me show you what's going on with Starbucks. Okay. So this is awesome. Sarah George friend line right here. So Starbucks took a big crap right now, right? It went from $98 and it dropped all the way to 90. Now, in theory, why would it stop at 90? Does anybody know? Why would it stop at 90? How would we have known to buy at 90? A round number, that's one way you could look at it, but that's not really the reason why. Why do stocks go up and go down, everyone?
Supply and demand, buyers and sellers.
Buyers and sellers, very good. There you go. All right. So I want to hide something really quick. Okay. So here you go. So right here, you could see here at 9:30 this morning, the order showed up right here. You see that? There was no buyers at all up until about $90 right there. See that?
So does that red line, is it there like that, or does it grow during the day?
So that's a great question. So let me show you that. If I zoom in, if I move over, you'll see that number change. So it happened during the day. Some other traders maybe added to that order, to that number. So it's not just one. Remember, it's not one person is trading at 90. It's multiple people. So maybe at one point during the day, somebody jumped in and said, I want to buy at 90. I want to buy at 90. Then sometimes that color would get lighter. And it means like, somebody probably pulled their order. Like, I don't want to sell at 90. So that's basically what you're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And now you could see why the stock is, now you see, this is what I was trying to show you before. You see how somebody's also bidding up here and they disappeared. So it's going up. See all the green bars. So somebody was there earlier. He canceled. So I don't know, maybe he went out there and he bought it. He said, you know what? No one's selling to me. So he's the one that causes it going up. So this is called a ladder effect. This is what we teach, a ladder effect. So it's happening and someone keeps bidding it up, bidding it up, bidding it up. Look, someone keeps bidding it up, right? And that's why the stock ain't going down. These people keep bidding it up right here. And that's why it continues to go higher.
Does the level 4 incorporate, I guess in some aspect, it has to, the level 3, but on the screen that you're showing us, does it show that 6-digit number? Like where there's a big open order?
Well, the open orders are right here. You see, that's your question. They're open. They're there.
Yeah.
They're there.
That whole right column.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you said it earlier. That whole right column is the level 3.
Right. Now the next thing, just to leave everybody off with this one last question. You own a stock, right? One of the big issues people have is where do you sell it? You don't want to sell things too cheap. You don't want to get, you don't want to, get screwed and not sell it soon enough. So what is going to prevent the stock from going up higher? Sellers. So one thing that I kind of teach the traders is you got to have a game plan. You got to know where to get out. Don't let a stock dictate and tell you where it's going down. You should know where it's going to go down before it meets those big sellers. So looking at here, I could see that there's a order out here at 96. Well, actually, let me do this really quick because I don't want to give away the prize. So you're looking at the chart, and obviously you're always looking at the chart, and you kind of get a little sense of where's resistance level. So just in theory, could anyone tell me where you think a resistance level is on Starbucks, where it might hit a resistance levels? Anybody know? Well, we're past 90. Right now we're at 95. So it's got to be higher than 95. 96. Okay. So get a piece of legal pad if you have one right now. Write these numbers down. So you wrote 96, right? Anyone else? 98. Okay. Anybody else? 98, 98. Okay. Anybody else? Everybody's stuck at 98. Anything past 98? What about if you get past 98? Where's the next resistance? So we got 96, 98, 100. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's use those three numbers. So I'm going to draw a trend line to show you where everyone picked those numbers. So here's 96, right? Here is 98. And then here is 100. Right. So obviously over the course of the day, it was past 100. If you look over here, let me draw this trend line. So you guys said 96 right there. So you can see some previous supports and resistance levels, right? And then here is 98 that some of you said, and then here's 100. All right. So when you look at it, you can say, yeah, there's a lot of resistance levels back in March at 100. You can see back here in July, 98. So I agree with all of you. Okay. So now let's confirm that, because if those past resistance levels exist, they should be there in the future. So let's go see where the orders are. So here's 96. I'm going to zoom out a little bit further. So look where you guys got the answer wrong. There's nobody there at 98, but there's a lot of people at 100. So if you said 98 and you had a game plan and wonder why, like, shoot, why did it break 98? I thought 98 was resistance. Well, remember, what happened in the past has got to be indicative of the future, and that's where the orders are. So you have a little bit of a seller here at 96, but the real big seller is at 100. And that's how you have a game plan when it comes to trading. Yes, that's your magnet right there. That's your kryptonite. That's your iceberg. That's what that basically is. All right. So any questions?
It's good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not looking to change anybody's style. I'm just trying to teach you a little bit more of the right of the chart. A lot of you guys can, like I said, if you're interested in, listen, platforms cost money. Okay. And I'm not here to sell anyone's software. This is not my software. I don't own any of the, I'm not in the software business. And I don't want anybody to go out there and think they're going to go out and buy this immediately, because I don't want you to do that. That's the last thing I'm here to do. What I like to do is, if anyone's interested in learning a little bit more about how to set up, I will always start off with the NASDAQ book viewer, because it's the cheapest way of going about doing it. So at least you get a feel, get your feet wet. $15, I don't think anyone has a problem, dishing out that. Because when you start getting to these platforms, then they start getting a little expensive. So, without jumping into it and not knowing, it might not be for you. You might not need it. You know what I mean? But start small. Like I said, just send me an email, and if I'll be happy to, like I said, I'll be happy to send you the videos of it, watch it, and then go from there. That pretty much does it, and that's basically NASDAQ book viewer. So, and that's a good way to start. Can you put book viewer for Starbucks to see what happened at 100? Yes. Let me get it. Let me get it up on my account. Hold on. Oops. Hold on one second. So you can see the difference on NASDAQ book viewer, right? That's a good question. So I'm going to go to NASDAQ's website. Here it is. I'm going to log on into my account, launch. It's easy as that. You minimize this. Here's NASDAQ. And we'll bring up SBucks. And this is why I want you guys to let me send you these videos, because you could see this is like extremely unconfusing. You know what I mean? Like so many orders. So there's basically you have to fix you have to aggregate them, and then you want to take out some of these things on here. I don't care for this. I don't care for this. I don't care for total time, market value, apply. Market value, apply, and total. Don't apply that one. Take that out. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's Starbucks, and you could see we can't go down here that much. So what I'm going to probably do is let me go to filters and let me say, show me nothing more than 1,000 shares to eliminate all these small lots. And there's your 100. You see how I brought everything up? There's 62,000. So you see that right there? There's that order. Are you looking for? That's what you're looking for.
Technically, I would say it's impossible to get, no, I shouldn't say impossible, improbable to get there today. But if I was looking at this, I'd be watching tomorrow if it continued to advance, is he still there? So on a day-to-day basis, yeah, I mean, if I see he's still there, he's not going away.
Yeah, no, he's going to still be there. No, they're still there. You know, what happens that you'll see, like, they'll cancel their orders and the market closes, and then they will reappear. Like I do my morning meetings at 9 a.m. Like we do a lot of pre-market trading. We start around 7:30 in the morning. So I have all my traders in there, but usually around 8:30, things start picking up. You'll start seeing those orders in there, even on brand names. And all of a sudden, you know, program trading kicks at 9:30, and then boom, they'll start really showing up there, because that's when then all those option trades are going out, all that stuff. But yeah, there you go. But the thing is this, like I said, I don't want anybody to go out there and buy the platform without watching the videos that I have on it. They're like 2 5-minute videos, because what I just showed you really quick on the defaults, you might look at it and be like, okay, Faust, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. But you see how fast I cleaned it up for you? And now it kind of makes a little bit, it's easier to read. That's what's important. So it's a great way to start using, you know, going through the exchange. And then once you start understanding how it works, then you can go to your brokerage firm and say, hey, how do I get, you know, the ECN book, you know? And then they say, oh yeah, no problem. Because they're not going to really tell you about it, because, you know, they don't want to tell you what they're doing, because that's basically what they're doing. I mean, you know this, Greg, a lot of these brokerage firms do trade against us traders. You know, they bank on that you're going to lose money. I mean, there's times I go out there and do a trade. I'm like, wait, why is my order not going out there? Because when you do a trade with a direct access brokerage firm, you will see your order come up there. You know what I mean? You'll see it. You'll see your order jump in here. Like I say, if I want to sell the stock Starbucks at 94.75, and that order returned to 4 to 5, that would be me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, and that's pretty much all I have. So if anyone has any questions or anything else, if you want to kind of learn a little bit more, just like I said, just follow up with me, and it will definitely help you how Greg trades, you know. And you know, just like I said, it's just a tool of just following the order flow, following the smart money.
Of course. So you perked our interest at the beginning of this. You said you had a picture.
What's that? Oh, the picture. Yes. Hold on. Where is my picture? It is right there. This is you and me doing a, oops. This is you and me. Hold on, let me get to fix the slide here really quick. So it's on one screen. So there's you, and there's me doing a Traders Challenge.
Yeah.
And that is Bo. I forgot his last name. But that's probably about, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, maybe.
That'd be like Probably 2000, 2001, maybe.
My hair's a lot darker then, and you had well, it gets a little bit more hair then.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, great. Those are the good old times. And we're still
Absolutely.
doing it. It's great. And by the way,
Yeah.
it's pretty funny though. If you look at the execution system, it's the same one we've been using. Nothing really has changed as technology goes. And you know what's crazy too about this, Greg? Here we are trading on one monitor. People out there got 4 monitors, 6 monitors. We made money on one. They can't even make money on, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So it just gets to show you that you don't have to. Another thing, like if you can't make money on one, you're not going to make money on 2 or 3 or 6 or whatever it is.
Right. Right.
Yep. Yep. Raul, this question: as a market maker, what do you think of your thought process to put such a large order at that price? Is it based on past price point? It's an order that I got taken that somebody wants to get out. An institution tells me, hey, sell the stock for me. And it's just me putting an order out there. But remember, I'm not the only person out there. That's everyone around the entire world. I think I don't remember who won. I think Greg, you won that one. I don't even remember. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I think you won one. I won one. I think we're tied.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That was a lot of fun. They were great.
a lot of fun.
Great. Then they just became like, I haven't been in a while, but they just became brokerage firm things and software stuff, and
Yeah.
wasn't what it used to be.
Well, you know what? With the internet right now and everyone on YouTube, it's always nice to just people just to meet face to face with somebody. But like I said, it's a lot of people start realizing there's a lot they could do without going physically there anymore. So
Traveling, sure.
and that's really what happened.
Absolutely.
But yeah, those were actually those are good times, and it's just great that we're still doing it and helping people out, and just let everybody know, like the technology I'm showing you right here, though, too. It's been around for over 50 years. It's been around forever. This is how actually NASDAQ actually started. It's just nothing really has changed. The only thing that's changed from when we got started until today is when I started, you had to be licensed. We used to pay $20 a ticket. We had fractions instead of decimals. We had to split the profit with the brokerage firm. Now all that's eliminated. Now you don't have to be licensed. You don't have to, you can get the software now without being registered, all that good stuff. And one last thing I want to make a point, just breaking news for everyone. If you haven't heard about it, and Greg, you probably heard about this. One of the big issues that did hurt our business back then, why the things got slow, is there was a pattern day trading rule. Just to let everybody, I don't know if everybody knows this, Greg.
I heard a little bit about it, but I don't know the details. Please share.
Yeah, they're looking. They've been fighting regulators, including me and everyone else, have been fighting for them to stop getting rid of the pattern day trading rule because it discriminated against us day traders. And it looks like in the fall, in September, October, they're going to eliminate it. They're going to get rid of it. They're going to bring it down to 2,000. So now, not everyone's going to be forced into, that you got to have 25,000 in account, be called the pattern day trading, because it was kind of discriminating us as traders. And it kind of hurt us because some of us, like, that's what forced us into futures and Forex and option. Some of us just want to trade the damn stock,
Sure.
So that's some great news. Tom Sosnoff was big on that. He was a big advocate for it. Yeah. So, listen, they had the T3 rule. They got rid of that. They got rid of they got rid of the red call. I mean, what they get rid of? The naked shorts and all that. This is the nail in the coffin to get rid of this stupid thing, because it's been hurting a lot of traders.
Maybe they get rid of the uptick rule.
All right. They got rid of the uptick rule. That was another stupid thing too. Yeah. But this is definitely a big one. This is big news right there. Right there.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well, Fausto, this has been great. We'll do it again. And everybody enjoyed it. It was fantastic.
Yeah. And just make sure, everyone, please make sure you let me send you that video, because I want to make sure you all should get it. You should all try it. And let me show you how to set up the defaults and where to find on NASDAQ's website. And like I said, if you have any questions, I'm always here to help you guys out. You know what I mean? And thanks for having me, Greg. It's just great to meet and see you again.
Yeah.
And hopefully meet you down there in Florida. When you're up in New York, definitely come and see us. All right.
Absolutely. Thanks again.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.